Hello and welcome to Symantec Connect, and welcome back to another episode of the State of Spam. I'm Dee Idris, and back with us today is Dermot Harnett, Principal Analyst for Symantec. Dermot, welcome back. It's good to see you again. In today's episode, we'll be taking a look at the recent shutdown of mColo, a spam-sending giant. We'll also look at the recent spam trends we've been seeing over the past few months. And finally, we'll wrap up by taking a look into the future and seeing where spam is going to go from here. Dermot, thanks again for being here.
Thanks.
Let's get right into it.
Sure.
So tell me a little bit about the mColo shutdown, why it happened, and what effects it had on spam levels.
Sure. On November 11, 2008, multiple upstream network providers shut down access to mColo-hosted solutions. The effect of this was a dramatic decrease in the amount of spam sent worldwide. This volume change was measured in the Symantec probe network, and what we saw was a 65% decrease in the amount of traffic after mColo when we compared it with before mColo. Now this decrease might seem surprising, when you consider that one single hosted company was shut down. But when you think about the allegations against mColo was that it was hosting a number of spam bots that were sending out spam, it's not totally surprising.
So you mentioned that this took place last year in November, so that's quite some time ago. And to be honest with you, over the past 3 months or so, I really haven't seen a decrease in spam, at least at my level. So are we still feeling the effects of the shutdown? Are people getting less spam, or what's happening exactly?
Spam volumes are slowly creeping back up to the levels they were at before mColo, but they haven't really returned there as of yet. But we are seeing some interesting things after mColo was shut down. For example, in October 2008, Symantec said that, reported that the region of origin for spam was actually shifting. So while the United States still retains the dubious honor of primary region of origin for spam, we're also seeing that botnets, particularly from Latin America and Asia, are increasingly behind new spam campaigns. And the reasons for this are many, but one of the reasons is that these countries, as part of their development strategies, is to increase broadband usage and increase internet penetration in these regions. So as we see the middle class continue to adopt broadband, we're continuing to see that some of these new regions are becoming the emerging regions of origin for spam. But it is important to remember that while spam may not be totally decreasing, as it will continue to exist as long as the spam motive exists, and that is that spammers continue to make money out of it.
Right. So that definitely makes sense, and it's interesting to see how the origins are shifting from month to month, and just over time in general.
Yeah.
So shifting gears a little bit, so Symantec recently released their February 2009 State of Spam report. Can you tell us about the spam trends that we've been seeing and what's happening out there?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, just like news and the economy, the news on the spam landscape is not good. We're seeing that, new fraud attacks emerge. We're seeing the continuing abuse of legitimate newsletters and social networking sites by spammers who are trying to hide behind these things in order to try and get these messages into people's inboxes. In our February State of Spam report, we also include sections on Valentine's Day spam. We also include sections on President Obama, malware and spam, the continued abuse of the CCTLD, and we also have articles on Russian and Nigerian spam. So we have a wide spectrum of attacks going on at this time.
Right. It's also very interesting to see how spammers are always staying up to date with current events and trends. So it's important as users that we also are aware of what's happening in the world, because that may give us the ability to see if a message is spam or not.
Sure.
Okay, Dermot, finally, this one's a bit interesting here. If you could look into the future, where's spam heading from today?
Well, what we're seeing is, as we study spam trends of the last few years, we're seeing that spam campaigns are becoming increasingly complex. We're seeing that spammers are continue to hide behind legitimate senders. And what we have to do in the months ahead is continue to be vigilant against the spam campaigns that are currently in the spammer's cooking point. So that's something that we're definitely determined to do.
So it'll be interesting to keep an eye out on that then. We won't take your word for it, but that's a good prediction. And that, folks, is the State of Spam. Thanks again for joining us for another episode. Dermot, as always, thank you very much for being here and offering your insight and expertise on the topic. Be sure to visit us at www.symantec.com/spam and download the latest report as it's released every month. You'll also have access to a lot of different resources to help you answer questions on spam and malware in general. I'm Dee Idris, and until next time, so long.